then all this debris on the roof, that will lead to roof leaks. And so that needs to be cleaned off periodically because you got big trees around here, so you're gonna have to keep up on that for sure.
Do you think those are active or just past?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, without a rating, who knows? You know, I mean, if I could tell you they were dry right now, it wouldn't matter because it's not raining, right? So you got to address the cause of it. So the cause would be the roof, cleaning the roof, doing some roof repairs, some stuff like that, and that's going to fit. You know?
How's the attic looking inside?
I'll get to all that for you. Yep. Yeah, a lot of this will answer a lot of your questions, and then we'll go over a bunch of them at the end. All right, so you got some trip hazards in the front, okay? These here are rafters. You got, you know, a dozen of them around the property, maybe more than that are rotted, okay? We do an overview. If you want like a specific layout, you would get a termite inspector or a structural pest guide. They'll give you a detailed diagram of where they're at and the cost to repair them, okay? So you got trim, again, same thing around the property that's water damaged. You've got the table, the planter table out front that's water damaged. Sheeting, I think most of it was out front, and that's also water damaged, okay? Siding around the property, same thing, water damage. Rot. This is the post for the patio cover, so the patio cover's rotted and the post is also rotted, okay? Some more, and then more rafters that are rotted. Here you can see that they use two different size wires to go into a breaker, so they're improperly sized, okay? So whatever that's going to is much bigger than the one that's going into the breaker. This handle here is damaged, so this doesn't work. This is for the garage man door, going from the garage to the exterior of the house. You have an open junction box here. It's not a huge deal, but you want to put a cover on the top of it so that those wires are not exposed.
Where's it at?
In the garage. Here's the water standing in the garage. It's under the, it's underneath the, kind of the hydro tub. But there's also in the attic, there's some water standing there. So I didn't see any leaks currently, but again, that doesn't really mean a lot. But yeah, you got some water standing there. So I would figure out like if they've done any repairs, if they know about it. If they not, then you'll have to hire, like, you know, you get a plumber to do a bunch of, like, take a look at the plumbing and things like that. Okay, same thing with the roofer. Some more water staining. This is the flashing probably up top, okay? And the same thing, if it gets dirty.
What do you think was up the pipe cut to the right of it?
What's that?
The piping cut to
That's
the right?
old. Those are just old.
Oh, those are the old ones?
Yeah, that probably was the old entry point for the water. So anyways, yeah, so you got more water staining there, and then here you've got 75-gallon tank, so they call for 3 straps instead of 2. Okay, it's not a requirement, but that's what they call for. It's also gurgling. You probably hear that noise now. Some of it's the bathroom, some of it's that water heater. It's starting to gurgle. So
Is that noise we constantly hear?
There's 2 of them. There's a faulty toilet, and then and it's gurgling both. So you got 2 different noises going on.
Is that an indication of replace it or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that means that there's a lot of sediment buildup in there, and eventually you're going to need to replace it. Yeah.
I think the going rate's about $2,500 for a 75-gallon tank replacement.
Depends on who you hire. Yeah, it depends on who you hire to install it. Probably
Yeah.
a little bit more than that now for a big tank like that. It takes a little while, and it's got a recirculation tank on there, so it's a little bit more expensive.
Got it.
$3,000, $3,500 probably, I would guess. It's just a
Okay.
guess. I'm not giving you a quote or anything. All right. What else we got? So some inaccessibility in the garage. This, they hooked the wires up wrong, so the light they hooked up for the fan out there, and then the fan button they hooked up the lights. Okay, why is that important? It's because this is just a smooth transition. There's no set, 1, 2, 3 stops in it. So what that does is that wears out those motors and those fans very quickly. Okay, so they wired it wrong for that fan there. The disposal it got a lot of damage to the splash guard. You keep like food and stuff like that from kicking up out of the disposal. You got a double trap under the kitchen sink. They don't do double traps anymore. They only do a single trap because you can get sewer gases in the house. The sink shelf underneath the kitchen is rotted.
You think it's currently leaking?
It's not currently leaking from what I see. Nope.
Okay.
Old leak. But it's still rotted, so
Yeah.
still active fungus, but not active leak. Underneath the hall bath or half bathroom here, the sink is leaking around the sink connection. For the laundry standpipe, I'm sorry, that's the wrong picture. For the laundry sink drain, the sink is leaking, the handle is leaking, like from the hose is probably cut and it's leaking down below and on the surface here. And the sink shelf underneath is also rotted, and that is an active leak. This all into the laundry. In the hall bath, you've got the tub spout that's leaking. And then this is the enclosure where the window is in the hall bathroom, and that's also leaking. Okay, it's leaking onto that exterior of the house. So it's leaking here, and it's leaking below there. So
Oh, it's leaking on the outside too?
so that
Okay.
is probably gonna have to be pulled. If you get a pest inspector, he's gonna recommend probably pulling that shower and relaying it. Okay. Upstairs, the water down here is from a leak. This is the leak at not the supply line, but the handle. This is in the primary bathroom. It's leaking. You've got some water staining to this is by the skylight in the primary. They had tarps over the skylight, and it looks like they've ripped since then, so they might have fixed these, and there's really no way to tell. So try and get documentation that they fixed them. Okay. If you can't get them, the roofer can. Sometimes they'll do a water test. Most of them won't, but they might be able to get up there and do a water test on it to see if it's actually leaking. And I have no idea where this would be coming from, except for the exterior of the house getting full of water, leaves in the gutters, things like that, and it's making its way into this is the primary bedroom closet. Okay. So I don't know. That one's kind of a mystery to me. It could be that they had a plant or something, but I doubt it. So you can try to figure out where that's coming from.
Well, we noticed here in the kitchen too, where it's like this mysterious baseboard water stains.
Yeah.
I guess like they're mopping the floor and they kind of push
these
water towards
most
the
likely
baseboard.
the baseboard's probably that. But this one upstairs is carpet. It's not going to be that. And again, unless they shampooed it real heavily all the time, I guess that could contribute to it.
Yeah.
All right, and then this is the trusses here. So they cut this truss. This is going into the attic access, and there's not much of one, but in the primary bedroom. So they've cut this piece of wood here, which they're not supposed to do because it's pre-engineered lumber. And then there's a smoke detector in the primary bedroom that was taken down. We just need to put that back up. And then also there's no carbon monoxide upstairs. There was one downstairs I saw, I believe, in the hallway.
Oh, I saw one. It's in the loft in the corner.
You saw one in the corner, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
This is a vent for the plumbing. This vent is supposed to go up above the roof line, and currently they're venting it. Instead of making a hole in the roof, they just use the vent for the roof vent. But this is supposed to go above the roof line, so this should be like relocated and stuck a little bit higher than the roof.
Is there a spot for that to go?
Nope.
90-degree angle? So they got to cut through the roof?
It's pretty common, pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yep. Cut through the roof and then flash it. And then it looks like these are all the vents for the bathrooms. They're all venting into the attic currently above the garage. And then you had a cracked truss here. They've since sistered a board in between it. Okay. And then you have some gusset plates that have been damaged and they're removed, and those are on trusses.
So they've been taken out.
Yeah, they fell off or something. Yeah. Yep. And I think that's about it.
What's your thoughts on the fences on the left?
What's that?
The fence on the left.
Damage. Yeah.
Okay.
It's overgrown with vegetation on both sides. This side